The Devil's Rejects, the sequel to Rob Zombie's feature film directorial debut, House of a Thousand Corpses. It's widely regarded as the better of the two films, with a 78% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes versus a 65% for House of a Thousand Corpses. No doubt Rob Zombie improved his skills between the two movies, but did he just make a better movie than his debut? Or did he make a good or even great movie in general? I would argue the latter. And I'll break down exactly why, while I explain why the Tutti fucking Frutti scene is the most important scene of the film. These movies center on the Firefly family. Otis, Baby, Mother, Firefly, Captain Spaulding, and Tiny. These are the ones we see in The Devil's Rejects and we'll be talking about here. The others from the first movie don't really matter in this case. Spaulding is Baby's father, Mother Firefly her mom, Tiny is a half-brother of Baby. And Otis is kind of an adopted brother, I think. I think he just showed up one day and got brought into the family. It's a little confusing. Oh, and so Tiny is a half-brother because his father is Earl, the professor who was supposed to be dead, but was in the end of the first movie along with Dr. Satan. But that may not have actually happened. House of a Thousand Corpses is a very bizarre story, and that's really the weak point of that film. Along with what I think is too much music video aesthetic when it comes to its style. There's some other characters involved, but for this purpose in talking about The Devil's Rejects, we only need to know Otis, Baby, Mama Spaulding, and Tiny. So let's move along to what this video is really about. Now before we get to the Tutti fucking Frutti, and I know that's why we're all here, we gotta look at how we got there. The movie begins with Sheriff John Quincy Whitell, an important distinction here, leading a search and destroy mission on the Firefly family farmhouse. We're told during the opening of the movie that the family is responsible for the deaths of over 75 people. A firefight ensues between the Firefly family and the sheriff and his team. Now, Tiny is not in the house when all this is going on. We see him observe the police vehicles approaching the farmhouse at the start, and we won't see him again for a while. And Mother Firefly ends up being taken into custody, while Otis and Baby manage to escape through an underground tunnel. Captain Spaulding is elsewhere at this point doing things I would like to forget, and I absolutely cannot show you on YouTube. Except for when he gets a phone call from Baby to say what happened and they agree to meet at a motel. At this motel, Mr. Zombie does his best to show you how absolutely horrible, disgusting, and evil these people are. They brutalize a country band, Banjo and Sullivan, which by the way, there's an album that was released by the band Banjo and Sullivan ahead of the release of The Devil's Rejects. I've never listened to it. Maybe a follow-up video? Let me know in the comments. All right, quick rundown. Banjo and Sullivan consists of Roy and Gloria Sullivan, Adam and Wendy Banjo, and Jimmy, the roadie. So I won't go into much detail about what happens to this band in the motel, but brutal murder, sexual assault are among the elements involved. Compared to many movies, it's honestly very tame, but it's an important scene that further establishes the lines of good guys versus bad guys, cops and robbers, or murderers. Well, Roy and Adam, who have gone with Otis on a little trip for supplies, are meeting their end. Otis tells them,
"I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work."
Just to drive home the point again that these are not good people. Intercut with the Banjo and Sullivan scene, we get a scene of Sheriff Whitell and Mother Firefly. She talks about how she killed a man named Whitell. That is Detective George Whitell from the events of House of a Thousand Corpses, Sheriff John Quincy Whitell's brother. This sets off the sheriff and he grabs Mother Firefly by the throat and promises he will kill every member of their family. He continues until he's pulled off by other officers. Not exactly being a good guy here, but, I mean, she just admitted to killing his brother. Everything up to this point sets her expectations. Bad guys are bad guys, truly horrible, disgusting bad people. And the good guys are in pursuit. The Firefly family can't possibly in any way be the good guys, right? We are now at the 1 hour point in this 1 hour and 50-minute movie, which I love for where we are in this story because it brings a sense of symmetry and balance to this whole thing. After the events at the motel, Captain Spaulding has met up with the family and only Wendy was left alive. The maid at the motel comes for room service and discovers Wendy there. Both are absolutely distraught. The maid runs out and Wendy does as well. Wendy, though, can't really see where she's going too well. Otis had made a mask out of her husband's face and Put it on her. She runs into the road and gets hit by a truck. Wydell, right behind the family, is on the scene of that death and speaks to two men, bounty hunters. He gives them the names of the family for them to track down for him. The lawman is clearly moving outside the bounds of the law at this point, because these two guys don't look like they follow any sort of law in doing their job. And now we have arrived. The scene that changes everything, and the most important scene of the movie.
Tutti fucking Frutti!
Captain Spaulding has joined up with Otis and Baby at this point, like I said, and they're traveling in the van they took from the band back at the motel. They're on their way to meet up with Charlie, a pimp and Captain Spaulding's adoptive brother, for refuge. Otis makes it clear he doesn't trust Charlie at this point and isn't too happy about this plan.
I know what I know, and I know I don't like that nutsack.
They pass a sign for ice cream, and like anyone, Baby wants some ice cream. Otis, being the one driving, says no, absolutely not, because clearly he just wants to get himself and them to safety. But Baby wants her ice cream. Her dear old dad, Captain Spaulding, says, you know,
I think I'm gonna get me some Tutti fucking Frutti.
And Baby agrees, saying,
Tutti fucking Frutti, that sounds good.
They begin chanting.
Tutti fucking Frutti!
Shut up!
Tutti fucking Frutti!
At great annoyance to Otis, who says,
There is no fucking ice cream in your fucking future.
the van drives by the camera, and we then see Spaulding and Baby enjoying their ice cream cone as they continue on their way to Charlie's. It's such a fun scene. It lightens the mood. It makes you laugh a little. It makes them relatable for the first time in the movie. It's the turn of the movie where you start to feel this whole different set of emotions toward these people. Instead of horror, disgust, and disdain, you kind of laugh along with them because we've all had to convince that one person to stop for some Tutti fucking Frutti. Right after the ice cream, we go back to Sheriff Wydell, who's back at the farmhouse. He enters and finds his dead brother inside the home, who tells him he lives there now and tells the sheriff he wants the family dead and for him to kill them. The sheriff says he's walking the line during this scene, which we've seen along the way, as I pointed out, but this shows that the sheriff is feeling conflicted in his actions, but he's making that conscious decision. He wakes up from that dream of his brother, gets a call from the bounty hunters who tell him about Charlie and that he's connected to Captain Spaulding, and he tells them, you know what to do. The sheriff goes back to visit Mother Firefly in her cell. He dismisses the officer guarding her. He then proceeds to murder her by stabbing her with a knife. The sheriff is no longer walking the line. He has crossed the line. In back-to-back scenes, we have seen both sides flip. It's the story of the whole movie. There's this contrast in the way the film is written and put together that we bounce from side to side as the movie plays out, and we see these two stories before they come back together as one at the end. But why is that important to the story and the movie? Why do we need to make this flip between the good guys and the bad guys? The overall story of the movie is revenge. Wydell is out for revenge, and he's gonna get it. Revenge has been told as a story many times. And in many instances, the one out for revenge, when they are the good guy, redeems themselves in the end and doesn't end up getting the revenge they were after. They take the high road. They're the better person. That's not going to happen here. Wydell isn't being the better person or taking any high roads. He's taking the lowest road. Because of that, he needs to be the evil one by the end. And his victims need to be able to garner some sympathy. And that's what Tutti fucking Frutti does for the Firefly family. You can relate to them, you can laugh with them a little, and you can feel something for them. Even if they are monsters as well. Right now, at this point, that stop for ice cream, they are now on the other side of the line. They are the ones being treated unjustly because the man who was supposed to be on the side of the law is going outside that law now. Now, Wydell is going for an eye type of revenge. He isn't out to see them face their day in court or be executed. He is judge, jury, and executioner. He takes them back to the farmhouse once he catches up with them at Charlie's and tortures them. He releases Baby after a while, and after taunting her with the fact that he killed her mother. While releasing Baby, he sets the farmhouse on fire while Otis and Spaulding are still tied up inside. But he only released Baby just to hunt her down outside the house. He's playing a gross game of cat and mouse. During this sick game, we find out Tiny is still around, who's been absent through all of this. He kills Wydell, goes in the house to pull Spaulding and Otis out, and then goes back in the burning building. That's what happened? He goes back in the burning building. I mean, Otis tells him, we'll come back for you, but he just went into a burning building. I don't think there'll be anything left to come back to, but all right. Spalding, Otis, and Baby drive away from the burning building and into the night. And into the next day, with Freebird playing. Bloodied and exhausted in the convertible, there's scenes cut in of the three smiling and happy during less murderous times. As it looks like they've made it out alive, there's relief. Wydell didn't fully get his revenge. They made it. It's a happy ending, even though they started out as absolutely the bad guys. They're the good guys now. But they encounter a police roadblock and have a bloody shootout with the police to end the movie. A bloodbath that none of them could have survived at all. Not a chance. Except they did, and they made 3 from Hell, released in 2019. But ignoring the third movie, which I haven't yet seen, they go down in a blaze of glory. It's an old trope, and really it's oftentimes a hero's ending. It's very clear that the whole intention after the first hour of this movie, after the Tutti fucking Frutti, the Firefly family are the heroes. And it would not have worked had it not been for the Tutti fucking Frutti scene to make them sympathetic to the viewer. I think The Devil's Rejects is an amazing movie, minus some small issues. And that scene is absolutely not only the best of the first 2 movies, but one of the best film scenes ever. Because what it accomplished was so powerful and did something you wouldn't think possible. It made evil, vile, disgusting murderers into sympathetic heroes immediately after they did horrible, disgusting things. And of course, it wouldn't have worked without also having Wydell be as disgusting as he turned out to be. And that is how Tutti fucking Frutti is the most important scene in The Devil's Rejects and an all-time great movie scene in general. And why The Devil's Rejects is not just a better movie than House of a Thousand Corpses, but a great movie in general. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of thing, let me know down in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe so you can see more of this. See you in the next one. Listen, just a little note for those that are still here at the end. I just want you to know that this was exhausting and it took all of my mental capacity to be able to do this right. So I hope you appreciate this video. Please like and subscribe and come back for more in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye!